It is oily, dense, colorless and hygroscopic liquid. Hygroscopy. What is the meaning of hygroscopy? What is hygroscopy? Hygroscopy is the phenomenon in which a substance absorbs moisture without dissolving it. That is called hygroscopy. And the substance which shows this, which exhibits this phenomenon is called hygroscopic substance. Like sulfuric acid is hygroscopic in nature. This is the reason why we have to keep in airtight bottle. If you keep it open in the open air, it will be absorbing moisture and its concentration will be affected. Your concentrated sulfuric acid will change into dilute sulfuric acid. It may even overflow after maybe few days and all. It may even overflow from the container. So that because it is hygroscopic in nature, so we keep in airtight bottle, and because of hygroscopic nature, it is used as a drying agent. In most cases, that most commonly used drying agent is sulfuric acid. That also concentrated one. Okay. Now the second one. When concentrated sulfuric acid falls accidentally on the skin, I told you last time. What does it do? It makes the skin. It will make the skin black, producing steam. That means it will cause even burning sensation, too much burning sensation, and make the skin black. This is due to its dehydrating action. So you have to know the role of sulfuric acid in your observation. The observation is skin is turning black due to the formation of the steam, and it is due to the dehydrating action. Next point you have written already. H2SO4 is a dibasic acid. So about dibasic nature, I will be discussing mainly in the chapter acid, base and salt. So it is a dibasic nature, so it can form both acid and normal salts. And dilute sulfuric acid takes part in all general or typical reaction of dilute acids, without any exception alone. Nitric acid generally does not take part in the first reaction, that is simple displacement reaction of the dilute acid. Because as you know, nitric acid gives hydrogen gas only with the metals Mg and Mn, and that also only under the condition that the acid must be very, very dilute and cold. The two metals that liberates hydrogen gas or reacting with nitric acid are Mg and Mn. If you remember, in the HCl chapter I have taught you this. Okay. But sulfuric acid will take part in the general reactions or the typical reaction of dilute acids, without any exceptions. You wanted to say something? Anybody wanted to say something? Okay. Hydrochloric acid, if it falls on the hand, so it will just cause, it will just remove the skin without changing its color. Color will not change. 1 minute. Property number 3. This is about the concentrated sulfuric acid. Concentrated sulfuric acid is. You are asking me about HCl. No, when HCl falls accidentally on the skin, it will just cause burning effect there in the skin and blisters, but without changing the color. It will not change the color. Nitric acid will change the color yellow, sulfuric acid will change the color black, but hydrochloric acid will not change the color, but it is harmful only. It will cause burning effect, the skin will get removed. Okay, now next one, concentrated sulfuric acid. Concentrated sulfuric acid is called king of chemicals. This is known as king of chemicals, and the reason, because it plays various roles in various reactions. You have to know which particular role is playing in a particular reaction. Like it plays a role of less or non-volatile acid. I think you know the reaction and the cases you know. if I write NaCl plus H2SO4 and the temperature condition is less than 200 degrees Celsius, this is concentrated, the answer will come out NaHSO4 plus HCl. And if I write NaNO3 or KNO3 plus H2SO4, concentration for temperature is less than 200 degrees Celsius, it will give again NaHSO4 plus HNO3. This was the lab preparation of nitric acid and this was the lab preparation of hydrogen chloride gas. Whenever you see the temperature value is given less than 200 degrees Celsius, the role of concentrated sulfuric acid will be less or non-volatile acid. Okay. We can give this reaction ourselves with question the write down the reaction in which concentrated sulfuric acid acts as a non-volatile acid. You can write any one of the reaction. Or sometimes they will give the reaction and they will ask you what is the role of concentrated sulfuric acid in this reaction. So you have to say less or non-volatile acid. Fourth one. Concentrated sulfuric acid is a powerful oxidizing agent. It is a powerful oxidizing agent like nitric acid. Nitric acid is a powerful oxidizing agent. Ammonia is a powerful reducing agent. And HCl also reducing agent. So, what are the examples we have? We can have the example with non-metals. Non-metals like carbon and sulfur. With carbon we do like this, carbon plus H2SO4 concentrated, then we have to heat. The answer will come CO2 plus H2O plus SO2, sulfur dioxide. Balancing number we can write out and balance the 2 if you write here, you have to put 2 is all balanced. This with sulfurs, S plus H2SO4 will give the answer when you heat. This is also concentrated, it will give you SO2 plus H2O. Balancing number you will keep S and H2S is coming, if you write 2 here, this balanced. That means with carbon gets oxidized to carbon dioxide, here sulfur gets oxidized to sulfur dioxide by the action of concentrated sulfuric acid. This one are oxidized product. Here the question becomes important like this. See, how can you make carbon dioxide from dilute H2SO4? Dilute. That time you have to think about the general reaction of dilute acids. What was the general reaction of dilute acids to get carbon dioxide? If you remember, the reaction was that is carbonates plus dilute acid gives salt, water and CO2. There we will go for that reaction. I mean the dilute sulfuric acid reaction we will go for. That is over there we can take any carbonate, but except calcium carbonate we cannot take because calcium carbonate reacting with the dilute acid will make calcium sulfate which is insoluble. So reaction will not take place. We can choose some other carbonate, we can choose sodium carbonate. Na2CO3 plus H2SO4, this is dilute. Then we can have calcium coming as salt, Na2SO4 plus H2O plus CO2. This answer is fine. So carbon dioxide is made from the dilute sulfuric acid, but how to make carbon dioxide from concentrated sulfuric acid? Concentrated, there we will give this reaction, carbon plus this. Here concentrated sulfuric acid is giving carbon dioxide, here dilute is giving carbon dioxide. So two ways we can get carbon dioxide, from dilute and as well as from concentrated sulfuric acid. What is the role of sulfuric acid here? Powerful oxidizing agent. Its role is not a less volatile acid or non-volatile acid. Its role is oxidizing agent. Here sulfur gets oxidized to sulfur dioxide. Okay, now next one. Reaction with metals. Metals like copper, with copper and all, copper and concentrated sulfuric acid we have to heat. The answer will come copper sulfate plus H2O plus SO2, sulfur dioxide. You have to put 2 and 2, reaction is balanced. With the copper and with the zinc, the reaction will take place and it will give sulfur dioxide. Same way the reaction will go on. But if you take copper plus dilute H2SO4, reaction will not take place because in case of dilute H2SO4, the metal must be more reactive than hydrogen, and copper is less reactive than hydrogen. That is for the case of dilute acid. Remember, not for concentrated. But here we are using concentrated acid, so reaction will take place. that condition is valid only for dilute acid, dilute sulfuric acid, but here we are using concentrated. So this reaction is possible and we get sulfur dioxide gas formed. And the oxidized product is this one, copper sulfate. So this is what is the role of sulfuric acid in this reaction? Again we say oxidizing agent, powerful oxidizing agent. Then we have the reaction with hydrogen iodide and hydrogen sulfide. Hydrogen iodide react, that is Hi plus H2SO4 concentrated. Then this will remove, this will give you iodine, remove hydrogen from it, iodine plus H2O plus SO2. Yeah. We can balance, then if it's H2S plus H2SO4, this is also concentrated and we are heating it. So this will give you now sulfur plus H2O plus SO2. Yeah. Sulfur dioxide. Sulfur is a yellow solid and iodine is a blue color solid, blue solid. Usually they ask you what are halogens. Halogens will be given in the periodic table, but we should know halogen belongs to group 7 of the periodic table. And the member of halogen families are fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, astatine. 5 members are there. Fluorine and chlorine are gas. Bromine is liquid and iodine is solid. What is the color of this iodine? Blue. This balancing number I have given already there in the copies. According to this I2, you have to put 2 here. Yeah, 2H yeah, 2H2O. Then you will be able to balance it. And the second reaction, yeah, in second reaction, if you put 2H2O, balance. So, name question maker, because you have to have the knowledge of question maker. Is name a solid halogen. Name a solid halogen. The answer is iodine. Hello, what about the others? Is the video gone? Open? Name a liquid halogen. What is the answer? Name a liquid halogen. Bromine. And the color of the bromine is brown. Okay. Name a solid halogen. What is the name of the solid? Iodine. And what is its color? What is the color? Blue. Yes. And yeah, blue. And sulfur is yellow color solid. Sulfur is a solid non-metal and its color is yellow. So name the acid or name the chemical used to make iodine. The answer is sulfuric acid. You know, iodine is very useful for us. What respect it is useful? You know, in salt and all, iodine is mixed. We call it iodized salt. What is the role of iodine in the salt or in our body? It prevents us. It prevents us from goiter, the glands. So every gland gets, inflated here, so it prevents us from that. Yeah, it gives us hormone, thyroxine and all in the thyroid gland and prevent goiter. So iodine is very important. Goiter, G-O-I-T-R-E. Goiter is a disease where the gland comes out and it looks like a ball, no? Many people, some people, they have suffered from that. Yeah, it's a kind of ball, tumor type. It is, yeah, like that only. Yes. So, iodine prevents us from getting goiter. So, it's quite important one. And iodine is also used in many medicines. So, in the manufacture of iodine, which chemical is used? We say concentrated sulfuric acid. And what is the role of concentrated sulfuric acid? As a powerful oxidizing agent, because it's removing hydrogen from it and giving us iodine. It is removing hydrogen from it and giving us sulfur. Yes. No. HNO3 will not give the reaction because what here we got NO3, nitrate radicals. Nitrate radical will not give you. No reaction will take place. That's why the reaction is only for sulfuric acid. It doesn't mean that it is applicable for all oxidizing agents. You have to know the reaction is only applicable for sulfuric acid, not for nitric acid. Okay. Next one, which is important, is concentrated sulfuric acid, concentrated H2SO4. is a strong dehydrating agent. Strong dehydrating agent. Dehydrating agent. What is the meaning of dehydrating agent? Dehydrating agents are the substances which removes water molecule and bring a chemical change in it. It is the substance like hygroscopic substance, drying agents, they do not react and they do not bring any chemical change in it. But dehydrating agent removes the water molecule accompanied by a chemical change. They are called dehydrating agent. And concentrated sulfuric acid plays a role of dehydrating agent also. For example, I have given the example there and you also are supposed to know C6H12O6. When you add concentrated sulfuric acid here like this on top we write, then this will be causing chemical, this will release carbon plus steam plus 6H2O we write steam, this is the steam, this is carbon. This is called glucose, which we find in sugar crystal or in sugar cane. An observation is also very important. When we pour concentrated sulfuric acid on sugar crystal or on glucose or on sugar cane, what will happen? Your sugar cane, your sugar crystals will change into black spongy mass of carbon, black color mass, and with the production of steam will also be coming out. That will happen. What will you observe when concentrated sulfuric acid is added to sugar crystal or sugar cane? You say the sugar crystal changes into black spongy mass. Mass of carbon, black spongy mass of carbon with the production of steam. That will happen. Okay. Now another reaction I have given here. HCOOH. This is called formic acid. Formic acid that we will learn in the organic chemistry. So concentrated H2SO4 when we add, this will be changes into carbon monoxide plus H2O plus steam or a steam. Dehydrating action causes steam to be formed. So this is also what is the role of concentrated sulfuric acid in this reaction? We say dehydrating agent or dehydrating action we find. And one more reaction is very important is this one, CuSO4.5H2O. This is called blue vitriol. It is blue crystallized solid, blue color crystal it is. It's called blue vitriol. When we add concentrated sulfuric acid, it will give copper sulfate plus 5H2O. Copper sulfate is white powder. Your blue crystallized solid will dehydrate by concentrated sulfuric acid into white powder of copper sulfate plus steam. H2O is steam is formed. This observation is important. This one and these two observations are highly important. What happens when concentrated sulfuric acid is added to copper sulfate, pentahydrate or crystal, or they will say to the blue vitriol? It will change into white powder plus the production of steam. Question may come: can you change blue vitriol into white powder other than heating? You can do it by heating also. When you heat, the water molecule will go out and it will change into white powder of copper sulfate. But other than heating, this is the method. Adding good. Adding concentrated sulfuric acid without heating, you can do it. Or even the question comes that is, can we produce steam without heating? Answer is yes. We have to add concentrate. We have to take the dehydrating action of concentrated sulfuric acid. We can produce steam without heating by the use of concentrated sulfuric acid, which is a dehydrating agent. It's dehydrating action we can use to produce steam without heating. That will also the question may come out there. I think hope it is all clear, no? Dehydrating action. Now test for sulfuric acid. What are the tests we have for the sulfuric acid? Test for sulfuric acids. Test for H2SO4. So here we will categorize. We will suggest two tests for concentrated and two tests for dilute. First test for concentrated sulfuric acid is like this: when we heat concentrated sulfuric acid with copper, it gives sulfur dioxide, which decolorizes the purple solution of KMnO4 solution, or which changes the orange solution of potassium perchlorate green, or which decolonizes the chlorine waters. Any one of the observation we can say. That is the first test of concentrated sulfuric acid. And what is the second test of concentrated sulfuric acid? That is less volatile nature. When we heat concentrated sulfuric acid with NaCl, with sodium chloride, HCl gas is formed, which gives dense white fluid with ammonia. So that is the test for concentrated. These two are the tests for concentrated sulfuric acid. These two tests are not that important, but for the dilute H2SO4, the tests are important. Dilute one. How do we test for dilute H2SO4? We have to add barium chloride solution. Barium chloride. BaCl2 solution we have to add. BaCl2 solution plus H2SO4 when you do dilute. This is dilute. Barium will react with sulfate, it will be giving BaSO4 precipitate, white precipitate plus 2HCl. This is white PPT, white precipitate will be formed with sulfuric acid, dilute sulfuric acid. So barium chloride gives the taste of sulfuric acid, or it gives the taste of sulfate radical. Anywhere SO4 is present, then barium will combine with this and will make barium sulfate white PPT. So barium chloride solution is used for the taste of sulfuric acid and also for the taste of sulfate radical, sulfate. This is quite important. Now another test we have like this. We can use silver nitrate solution, AgNa3 solution plus H2SO4 dilute. Then answer will come, Ag will combine with this, will give you AgSO4 plus 2HNO3. This is also white PPT, white precipitate, white PPT. So name two solutions that can be used for the detection of sulfuric acid or for the detection of sulfate radical. The two solutions are BaCl2 and silver nitrate. But I tell you what, the silver nitrate can even be used for the taste of HCl or chloride ion. For chloride ion also we can use it, and we have used it. If you remember in the HCl chapter, I did like this: AgNO3 plus HCl dilute. This was given AgCl curdy white precipitate plus HNO3, if you remember. And this curdy white precipitate is soluble in ammonium hydroxide and insoluble in all dilute acids. So silver nitrate solution gives the test for HCl and as well as gives the test for H2SO4. Means silver nitrate is the common solution. This gives the test for sulfate as well as for chloride ion. But only for sulfate radical we have barium chloride solution. Whereas silver nitrate gives a test for both. It can give the test for sulfate as well as for HCl. But this silver chloride is soluble in ammonium hydroxide, and this is not soluble even in the ammonium hydroxide. That is the difference. So name two solutions that can be used for the test of sulfate radicals. The answer is BaCl2 and AgNO3. Or name a common solution that can be used for the test of H2SO4 and also for HCl, or for the sulfate, or also for chloride. What is the name of the solution? The answer is, common solution is AgNO3, silver nitrate. Hope it is clear. Now mostly we emphasize on barium chloride. Okay, suppose they give a situation that is they are giving two acids. One is H2SO4 concentrated and dilute. This is dilute, and the other one is given dilute HNO3. Which solution will you use to distinguish between them? We'll say barium chloride will use. Barium chloride solution will use. Barium BaCl2 solution will use. When you add here and when you add here, what will happen? Here you will get white PPT form. That is barium sulfate. When we add to dilute sulfuric acid, it gives white precipitate. But when we add to dilute nitric acid, it will form no precipitate. No precipitate. Why? Because barium nitrate is a soluble salt. So there is no precipitate. Whereas barium sulfate is insoluble, so there will be a white precipitate form. So, which solution we will use to distinguish between H2SO4 and HNO3? The answer is barium chloride. Hope it is clear. So, this is how we can distinguish without heating. Without heating, we are able to distinguish. And if you are allowed to use heating, then it's very easy to distinguish. You heat. Here you will see reddish brown fluid coming out. That is NO2. And here there will be no vapor form because we know that H2SO4 is less or non-volatile, so there will be no vapor seen out in this case. So hope this is clear, this is done. Now the last part of this chapter we have written the uses of sulfuric acid. I tell you the uses. It is used in the purification of petroleum products. Petroleum products are like kerosene, we have diesel, we got petrol, we have got LPG cylinders and all that, LPG liquefied petroleum gas. So they all are purified in the oil refinery. There are factories, oil refinery where the petroleum products are refined and we get various products. So they are all refined by the oxidizing action of sulfuric acid. Over the sulfuric acid is used as a powerful oxidizing agent. Okay, remember that. Now next use is it is used in the lead acid battery car battery, no, they use the acid. That acid is nothing but sulfuric acid. And it is also used in making fertilizers, important fertilizers like ammonium sulfate. This kind of fertilizers and all are made from the sulfuric acid. So the important use we need to only keep in mind. So with this chapter is done.